お、来たね。それで今日はどこに行くんだい？
何かご用ですか？ご用が終わりでしたら何なりと。想定外の戦闘ですね。リスケしないと。撃破完了。
これも策のうちさ。
ワッツー甘い。ワッツー一気に叩き込みます。ワッツーここ。勝利です。このまま次の仕事に取り掛かりましょう。何かご用ですか？何か用？すぐ終わらせましょう。気を緩めずに行きますよ。
仕方ないな。
回避成功。
はい、で次はどいつだ？
一気に叩き込みます。甘い。ぬるい。いい調子です。ここ甘い。
奥義運帝強来。
利益の見込めない戦闘が
ケイトにもな。
気を緩めずに行きますよ。 感謝です。ワッツ社長、よし行くぞ。それ、あとは頼む。お任せください。甘い、ここ甘い。
遊んでやろう。いい加減休みたいんだが。奥義運転狂来。
一気に叩き込みます。さっ甘い。さっ
で次はどいつだ。
感謝です。気を緩めずに行きますよ。社長、よし行くぞ。それ、あとは頼む。お任せください。いい調子です。ここ
奥義運転狂来。
勝利です。このまま次の仕事に取り掛かりましょう。ええ、共に参りましょう。
また厄介者か。
おとなしく
叩き込む。なめ
嘘でしょ。熱いでしょ。
突きやり砕けろ。甘い。
マイナス
せい
せい。
甘い。
これで
これ以上時間を割くつもりは食らえ。
そんな。
食らえ。
これも皆のため。
突きやり
そこ
はっ
逃がさないんだから。
食らえ。見えた。この
くらえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
食らえ。怪人に着せ。は
遅い。
っ
はあ。
なめ砕けろ。砕けろ。
烈風
砕けろ。
光栄。食らいなさい。
ザせい。
おとなしく地に帰りなさい。くらえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
生産の時だ。はっこの一手で決めるぞ。食らえ。
そこ
金もらった。
せい。
はっ
遅い。逃がさないんだ。
食らえ。突きやり叩き込む。
これも皆のた
しまいだ。これ以上時間を割くつもりなめて。
め。好きだらくらえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
怪人に着せ。はっ突きやり砕けろ。
落ち着いてまいりましょう。
甘い消えろ。これはどうだ。
永遠に眠りに沈みなさい。嘘に
効率重視でいくぞ。
眠いた。こちらは
隙あり。
いつも
食らえ。
極光は洋蘭、横光は明道。さあ
怪人に着せ。はあ。食
生
らえ。
ある者によ滅んでしまう。
隙あり。食らえ。金もらった。見え
食らいなさい。これで食らいなさい。
た。この一手で決めるぞ。
心をいい。
隙あり。はっ。見えた。はっ。食らえ。叩き込む。
こちらはいつでも極光は洋蘭、横光は明道。さあお眠りなさい。
なめてる。なんだと。
生ある者によ滅んでしまう。
予定が詰まってるんだ。さっさと終わらせよう。隙あり。
残らずと
食らえ。叩き込む。
熱いでしょ。
砕けろ。
烈風
ザ
応援。
砕けろ。
これで
砕けろ。これはどうだ。つめん甘い。なめて砕けろ。この一手で
さようなら。
砕けろ。
せい。
見えた。
食らいなさい。
叩き込む。見えた。はっ。食らえ。
食らえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
怪人に着せ。はあ。すべて想定通り。
食らいなさい。
見えた。
これで
せい。
遅い。
食らえ。はっ。この一手で決めるぞ。ふん。祝うほどの勝利でもなかったな。また厄介者か。食らえ。
残らず倒す。
見え
これも皆に
た。砕けろ。これはどう
はあ。
だ。砕けろ。
これでそこ。せい。
これはどうだ。
みんな
食らえ。
ぶっ倒す。
見えた。これ以上時間を割くつもりはない。叩き込む。
さようなら。これで
隙あり。見えた。はっ。なめて
食らえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。これも
この一手で決めるぞ。
食らいなさい。
砕けろ。
はあ。
これはどうだ。怪人に着せ。はあ。
そこ。
久しぶりに早く帰れそうだ。
すぐ終わらせましょう。
説に任せろ。
回避成功。
対抗は切なるがご
気を緩めずに行きますよ。
見え
頭も使って戦うんだ。急いでるのでまとめてかかってきてください。一気に叩き込みます。感謝です。
見えた一戦
勝利です。このまま次の仕事に取り掛かりましょう。ええ、共に参りましょう。
予定が詰まってるんだからさっさと終わらせよう。なめて
熱いでしょ。
見えた。
これも皆の
砕けろ
そこ。
砕けろ。
これで食らいなさい。
その力認めざるを得ない。砕けろ。その力認めざるを得ない。
はあ、落ち着いてまいりましょう。
食らえ。
遅い。食らいなさい。
燃えろ。それ見えた。なんだと食らえ。
食らえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
怪人に着せ。はあ。
逃がさない。
食らえ。
ね。
今は
何やってるの？少し休憩しましょうか。食らえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
甘い怪人に着せ。はあ。
これも皆のため。
はっ。
いた。
叩き込む。
食らいなさい。
食らえ。なめて隙あり。
せい。食らいなさい。遅い。落ち着いてまいりましょう。
食らえ。叩き込む。見えた。この一手で決めるぞ。はっ。
そこ。
Oh, thank you. I'll read it.
食らえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。
A lot of people don't like the combat. I like the combat. I was getting tired of the old combat.
隙あり。
Old combat was getting stale.
燃えろ。なめて。はっ。砕けろ。甘い。なんだと。この一手で決めるぞ。甘い。
食らえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわキング。逃がさない。
砕けろ。生産の時だ。はあ。食らえ。見えた。うん。食らえ。
遅い。せい。そこ。
見えた。
これで
燃えろ叩き込む隙あり
ね。
久しぶりに早く帰れそう。
I agree with you on the dodge. The dodge feels worse.
すぐ終わらせ
I
ま
do
しょう。
wish the moveset was more expanded as well. I don't disagree with you.
撃破完了。
But I was also really tired of the old combat.
で
I feel like any shortcomings that the game has, which pretty much all mentioned and I
回
agree
避成
with,
功。
get solved in future games, because
いい調子です。
you know they're gonna stick with that combat for a long time. So I'm a little bit kinder on it.
一気に叩き込みます。社長、よし行くぞ。それ、あとは頼む。お任せください。感謝です。
これを待っていた
There's probably gonna be mods to fix some of that stuff
話してはいけ
too.
ません。
奥義
Maybe make the dodge more responsive and stuff like that. Make the boat faster. Won't have to worry about those things.
このまま次の仕事に取り掛かりま
Just
しょ
like
う。
FF16 has that mod that lets you cancel the stinger into itself, so you don't have to put up the slow jog anymore. Sure, we'll have things like that.
また厄介者か。見えた。なんだと。
レプ公園。これで。はあ。
隙あり。
せい。遅い。皆さん注意してください。
なめて砕けろ。
採用。
これはどう砕けろ。これはどう砕けろ。砕けろ。この一手で決めるぞ。すべて想定通り。見えた。
はあ。
せい。見えた。叩き込む。
隙だらけね。
こ
くらえ。正義の鉄槌。よくやったわ、キング。落ち着いて参りましょう。
祝う
At
ほ
least
ど
the
の
PC
勝利
port
で
is
はな
good. You can say that much. In a year of garbage PC ports, it stands out. Shouldn't have to stand out for being a functional game on PC, but that's the world we live in right now.
すぐ終わらせましょう。
Port is very good. Considering how bad the Chinese version port was, that's pretty impressive. Chinese port was a
よ
disaster.
けきれますか。
I definitely agree with you though, they need like more moves. It doesn't really feel like going with two characters really let them expand the moveset. You're still limited to 4 slots. I mean, technically you have 12 because you have the 2 characters and then duo mode. I'll think of it that way, but the moveset should be more expanded. because they don't have to do like 10 characters anymore.
それあとは頼む
I don't know how they'll really choose to expand upon it.
この好機逃すわけがない。
一気に叩き込みます
Yeah, Slash Strike Pierce was just
時間を無駄に
always
しな
felt
くて
like
済
just
み
a
そうで
gimmick
す
to make you play somebody who's not at all. That's all it ever really felt like. That's all it really was. That's all it really was. Okay, here's these other random characters that are not at all in Dogi, and we need to come up with some way to make you encouraged to play them.
対抗は切なるがごとし
But then they give you accessories that just let you change the type anyway, so it doesn't matter.
回避成功
当たれ。
それ感謝
これを待っている。この好機逃すわけがない。
一気に叩き込みます
一戦
避けきれますか
当たれ。遊んでやろう。
いい調子です気を緩めずに行きますよ
Well, Tails movesets are pretty,
社長
no
よし行くぞ
competition.
それあとは頼む
Especially
お
compared
任
to
せくだ
East.
さい感謝です
The benefit to the way that East does it is the fact that
奥義
none of the characters are complete trash. And that's a problem they've had in Tails
気を
games
逃
is
してはいけません
a lot of the characters that aren't the main character are bad.
ここ
Or if they're not bad, they're just not fun to play. Case in point, like almost all the mages for the HD era are like painful to play.
そろそろ終わり
The
に
fact
しま
that
しょう
East is so homogenized is actually kind of one of its strengths because it means that you can play as anybody and not feel completely gimped because you're not playing as the main character. So that part is nice.
この局面節が変えてやろう。
隙だらけですよこれを食らいな
No,
さい
you're not unreasonable at all.
私の技
蹴りをつ
People
け
that
る
are unreasonable that just wanted the same game again. I'm like, the old combat
甘い
was getting stale. It's getting really
こ
stale.
の機を逃してはいけません
It needed a change,
対
but
抗は切なるがごとしってね。
それ
it's debatable if that change they made was good.
当たれ。
Because they definitely could have done a lot more with it
叩き込
with
み
only
ます
having 2
回避
characters.
成功
Combat should be a little bit more in depth than what it is. I agree with you there. No disagreement.
そろそろ終わりにしましょうはっそれ隙だらけですよこれを食らいなさいてやぬるいそれてや甘い回避成功はっ一気に叩き込みますわっぬるいそれミスを繰り返しませんいい調子ですこの気を逃してはいけません気を緩めずに行きますよ勝利ですこのまま
I don't know,
次の仕事に
nobody's
取
able
り
to
掛かりましょう
really talk about that game without arguing. they argue about it so much. Like, do you just accept that, like, there needed to be some kind of change? Whether you like the change or not is one thing, but undeniably needed to be some change. They didn't exactly go about it the best way. Part of the problem.
オリンピア急便へ。何かご用ですか？速達。どんなに小さな成長でも喜ぶべきことだよ。
Dodge sucks, yes, I agree with that. The main thing you didn't point out was the shield system. The shield system really sucks, and I hope that, like, if you build your character, that, like, that's less of a problem, but the shield system just feels like really doubling down on not wanting you to burst the bosses down really quick, which was like part of the fun part about it. The shield system's like, hey, you know, none of these attacks you're doing are actually, they don't have any impact. That just plain sucks. I really don't like that. It doesn't really feel like it adds anything of value. It's just make the fights twice as long. Classic video game problem of, you know, hard modes and stuff. Just doing the same thing for longer. It's not really engaging or even challenging. It's just, hey, you're doing the same thing for a couple minutes longer. And that's like the only thing. There's nothing else. Nothing else to the difficulty mode at all. the
この痛みを
QTE system, threshold system in Arise, which like doesn't really accomplish anything. The only thing it does is it prevents you from one-shotting the bosses. But if they cared about that, they wouldn't make a protagonist that could kill everything in 2 hits. So I don't really get what the purpose of that was in retrospect.
絶対
Just make it so you can't do more than half damage to a boss, but then they give you a character that just can one-shot them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. You knock them down, you do it, you take off half their health, you do the forced QTE, and then you do it again. It's the entire game. I don't get why that's even in the game. If it was to prevent one-shots, all it really does is just, it's a one-shot with an extra step. Still invalidating their entire moveset, because Alphen is such a broken character.
ここは私に任せて。絶対食い止めてみせる。ここは私に任せて。絶対食い止めてみせる。
まだ勝てるわけには壁にかまってハチドスにしてやら。
ここは私に任せて。
感覚は鈍っちゃいねえみてえだな。一気に攻めるぞ。一気に行くぞ。よけきれるか。よくやった。
あの世で罪を償って。絶対食い止めてみせる。
感覚は鈍っちゃい。ああ食いしばれ。一気に攻めるぞ。
よく頑張ったね。私も手伝うよ。それそれ。頼むよライガー。冷たいのもご一緒に。はあ。それ。行くよスピンと。はい。それ。それ。お前らがいるから。これ以上は近づかせないよ。あの世で罪を償って。
一気に攻めるぞ。陽動大道じゃねえか。よっと。よけきれるか。ハチロスにしてやら。そのまま抜くな。
絶対食い止めてみせる。それ。
よけきれるか。
に任せて。今が最高のコンディションだよ。
People said that can't do Nightmare new game. I'm like, hardest difficulties in these games are just HP bloats. I never cared for them. It's cool that it's possible to do, but it's just boring. It's probably just really worse on East 10 because of the shield system and the fact that you can't stack like Flash Guard or Flash moves, which help to make it at least somewhat fun, but I don't know, difficulty modes in East I just never really cared for. Probably it's just generic. You know, they have more health, and if they tap you on the shoulder, you die. I don't really find that kind of difficulty interesting. Change their attack patterns and maybe give them like a little bit of a stat buff, but not to the point where it's just playing perfect for like several minutes at a time. I never cared for it. It's not like Tails is much different, but Tails greatly varies depending on what game you're playing. Like Abyss Unknown is real slog. Basically just doing no damage for like the big chunk of the first part of the game. It's like, yeah, you can do it with skill, but like I said, it's just doing the same thing for longer. Not the kind of hard mode that really gets me pumped. Usually on games like that, I just stop at normal.
戦場じゃ一瞬の迷いが命取りになるぞ。
Assault Spy was like that at launch. The extreme difficulty just like gave them an insane amount of health. I did it before he nerfed it, but it definitely was how much can your fingers take? Hand feels like it's gonna fall off after doing that. Like, yeah, that kind of difficulty mode doesn't really interest me. So hard to find an action game that doesn't do that shit though. Very common. Varying degrees. Some games it's like a minor step boost, other games it's like a massive boost. Like the boar at the beginning of Tales of the Abyss on Unknown mode takes like 5 minutes to kill. It's like it's complete jobber trash mob, but you're doing like 1 damage on Unknown mode, so it takes like 5 straight minutes of just mashing the button. Like, is that really difficulty? No. It's difficult to stay engaged. It's not actually hard. That's how I've always felt East difficulty modes are like. At least when you're doing them on a fresh file. Mega HP sponges. They're never gonna let us play as Dogi again. Decided he's cancelled. He said a gamer word on Twitter when he was 18. So he's like 30 now. So they canceled him. That's why he's not playable. Somebody dug up a tweet as some gamer thing that he said 15 years ago. So can't make it playable anymore. Yeah, he got canceled on Twitter. Usual thing that happens to people in some modicum of popularity. Find something they said when they were like 8. Like, oh well, there go all your sponsorships. What happened to Dogi? Called somebody a loser. Like that one guy that got canceled, he like said something racist. They found it, but he was like a literal minor. He was like in middle school when he said that. Like, clearly the guy has grown, right? Like, he was a kid. That kind of stuff is nuts to me, like... It's like those people that go on 90 Day Fiancé and a couple of them have gotten canceled because somebody, like, went through their entire Facebook history. One of them said the N-word. Wasn't even the hard R N-word, it was the one that ends with an A. Said that, and that was enough to get taken off the show. Like, I don't know, man, it's a little bit extreme. As somebody who's dark-skinned, it's a little bit extreme. Especially when it was, like, years ago. I don't know, man. One thing if they actually, like, did something bad, but... Just have, like, archaeologists just completely go through, like, your entire internet thumbprint or footprint. Try to find something bad you said. I guess that's what happened to Dogi. Found something he said when he was 16. Why he's been demoted to a permanent NPC. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, East difficulties take skill. They do, but it really is just... It's just, you know, stat inflation. That's all it is. I don't really think they're worth playing on anything higher than hard. Those are the kinds of people that are like masochists. Or they want their first playthrough to be absolutely obnoxious to get through. Because everything just one-shots you. And they have like massive stat bloat compared to normal. It's like, if you want to do the harder difficulty and not get stuck at brick walls all the time, like, just play it on normal, like, hard maximum. And then just do New Game Plus. Problem is that normal is still like a little bit too easy, so it's one of those things. There's no like pure solution. Normal's a little bit too easy, and you can be very careless. But then hard and above is HP Sponge City, which isn't great either, especially if you want to actually get through the game smoothly and not get stuck on a boss like it's a Souls game for 3 hours. Which I don't really think the game is really designed for. Yeah, I guess you could do that, but I don't know. I'd rather do that in like Neo 2 or something. Combat in that game is way deeper. Really liked how Streets 4 avoided that almost entirely until the DLC added the Mania Plus. Like, they just attack more and there's more enemies and they're smarter. Now, granted, the smarter AI in that game is very annoying and can actively prevent you from having fun playing the game, but they at least put effort into making it more interesting than the usual action game where it's just stat load. I think action games with stat load on difficulties is like way worse when there's no RPG elements. Like you're just gonna be doing the same amount of damage as everyone else. It just takes 3 times longer because they added an extra 0 to their health. That's pretty much what PSO2 difficulties were. For the most part. They did change some attacks later on, if I remember correctly, but... Classic video game hard mode. I don't know. I haven't watched the story. I skipped all the cutscenes, but I understand that people have their problems with how she's written, but the reality of it is she's just another love interest for Adol that won't be seen or heard from again. So, it's hard to care. That's the biggest problem with e-storytelling is the love interest in your friends that you meet, like, almost none of them appear in any of the other games. So, continuity is kind of just whatever. That's why I just skip the cutscenes, man. Story ain't that great. Especially since he's like, game is like a prequel. Takes place like right after East 2 or something. So he's incredibly young. And when do you hear about her again? It doesn't matter when they make the next one. She's not going to be in the next one. That's what's unfortunate with how they write these games. All the characters that aren't at all in Dogi are throwaway. Like, even though Dogi is never playable,
絶対食い止めてみせる
he's still like the only one that's relevant, actually does something. And you can actually count on being there for the next game.
アドミンちゃん迷いはに
戦場じゃ一瞬の迷いが命取りになるぞ。
ここは私に任せてそれ今が最高のコース食い止めてみせる
一気に行くぞ。
そこの
勝ちロスにしてやら。
それ
一気に攻めるぞ。
決めるよそれそれそれ
感覚が鈍っちゃいねえみてえだな。よっと
それはあそら
避けきれるか。よくやった。さあ食いしばれ。
頼むよライガー冷たいのもご一緒にはあそれ
一気に攻めるぞ。
食い止めてみせる
陽動と行こうじゃねえか。
覚悟して
避けきりっちゃ上がりだ。
I mean, it's been like that for ages. You just can't really get attached to the other characters because they're not in any of the other games. They were starting to get away from that trope with Gase, but then he stopped appearing too. He disappeared too. It was like that would have been a cool way to, like, you know, have some semblance of continuity and make you care about the characters instead of having them just be stunt movesets to use, which is basically all they are. But the whole love interest thing, I think, is the worst. You know, it's like, why does every female character have to fall for him, especially when there's, like, no resolution? And there never will be, especially at the rate that they're going. Like, just stop doing that. That kind of thing works better when it's like a Final Fantasy or Tales type thing where, like, yeah, you know, 90% of the time in those franchises, the two male and female leads fall for each other, but it doesn't have to stay that way for like 15 games. That's the difference. I know it's a one-off thing in the off chance that there's a couple games like Destiny 2 and stuff where, you know, they're actually still together and they have a child and stuff. The way that they've been writing the East games just makes it really hard to care about the story. I really think you should only play them if you can accept that, like, the story is not great. There's a lot of things wrong with the formula and how they write them, and they don't really seem to be wanting to change that, so you gotta go into it expecting that. Either skip the cutscenes or watch them, but, like, don't expect Shakespeare. That's pretty much how you have to approach that series. They're never gonna make the final game. They're never going to. They probably really regret, you know, actually giving the character at all somewhat of a definitive end. Or like, you know, they can't make anything past that. But they're never gonna make that game. It doesn't matter. He's like 23 in East 9. They're going back to when he's 17. The next one, they'll probably do one immediately after 9 or 10. Where he's like 17 in 2 months or something. His age doesn't really have any bearing. At least they didn't say he like retired when he was 30, because then they'd really be in trouble. You get to the point where he's going on some massive globe-trotting adventure like every month, just to get past that restriction they gave themselves with the writing. East 10, apparently the like final part of it, there's like a secret part that like gives you some hints to like what he does when he gets to the North Pole, but of course it doesn't tell you anything. I remember watching it when the game came out, and it doesn't really explain anything. It's like, hey, remember that plot point we introduced ages ago? Well, we're gonna kind of do something with it, but not really.
Bring a challenge next time, won't you?
Black screen? What? Why is that? Oh shit, I'm in the middle of a map! Could have told me sooner. Shit. Ugh! Why is it doing this? What the fuck? Capture the damn game! Why is it not working? God damn it, why didn't anyone tell me before?
Off we go again.
Just wasted my thing because it's not working. What the hell, man? I don't understand why it's doing this. Work like normal. What the fuck is wrong with it? It's not capturing anymore. Hello? Work like before. Oh, damn it, man. I just wanted to relax. It's not capturing anymore. It's all messed up. What the fuck is wrong with it? Well, it's working now. It's working on this game. hell is that? It's just like randomly stopped working. Yeah, everybody was waiting and nobody can like just mention that it's not working. If you hear game sound and it's a black screen, just tell me. Alright, now it's working. Okay, I know what it was. It was MSI Afterburner. Probably Blizzard's anti-cheat. Didn't want anything else hooking onto the process. It's working now. I don't know why MSI Afterburner would trigger their anti-cheat. Well, I wasted that summon that I had. That's alright, I've got more. It's a pain in the ass, though. Pick the worst time to do that. Oh, well, let's just go do this world boss. The Spiritborn will burst it down in a minute. Let's go do that. The black screen is usually only up when I'm talking or I'm doing some kind of transaction. Because I don't want my debit card address to be shown. That's basically the only time. You know, if I'm playing like PGR and I'm buying like, you know, the battle pass or something, I'll censor it. Even though it doesn't really show any really important information, but just when you stream, you gotta take precautions. Could always be some random lurker that could decide to try to mess with you. But yeah, if you hear game sound and it's a black screen, you just gotta tell me right away.
Greetings.
That's alright. I made it in time for this. It's all good. No, it was because I had MSI Afterburner up. It's my fault, but I don't know, it's weird that Aether Gazer was fine, and that clearly has some kind of anti-cheat as well. Blizzard's anti-cheat is like maximum security or some shit. Just completely broke my streaming software. Still have people that RMT in this game, which is like incredibly stupid to me because it's seasonal. Like, I don't get why you would spend real money on illegal transactions in like a seasonal game. I get why people did it in like DFO. Like, I totally get that. At least in DFO, like, seasonal power creep was a lot longer than 3 months. Seasons in this game are like 3 months. Like, dude, what's the point in spending money on that? But I guess there's a market for it. I don't know how many people actually do it.
Need more time.
Like, just go play Ghost Lore if you want to do that instead. Have as many attempts as you want. The game's only like 20 bucks. You're legit better off, like, spending that money in a gacha game than trying to get power by paying real money in this game. Especially with, like, the balancing that they do. Your build can just get completely torched. Like, overnight. You really want to spend real money on that? But I guess that's why their anti-cheat is so effective. A lot less of that than games of the past. You know how Nexon DFO was inundated with bots, completely ruined the economy.
Efficient.
Just the economy in this game doesn't even make any sense because everything just costs like
Carrying too much.
hundreds of millions.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
They're too scared to add an actual auction house. Like, dude, just add the auction house back.
My bags are full.
I swear, like, auction house must be like a swear word for the development team of this game. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's like the words auction house are like a gamer slur. Like, dude, just put the auction house back in the game, and then, like, you know, just make it so you can't pay to win. That's all it takes. The current system of having to use this game's echo megaphones to beg somebody to buy your item or go on an auction site is just like way too much effort. I don't care if something's worth 50 billion, I have to deal with people. I can't just put it up on a shop and just get rid of it. You know, get the money when I wake up or something. That's about as far as I want to take that kind of thing. Blizzard's Battle.net app is terrible. It's worse than the Epic Game Store, even. Why do you have to add people as friends to add them to your party? I can't imagine being, like, a popular content creator for this game. Their friends list must be full, like, 24/7. Like, constantly full. Never mind the security of that, too, like, getting people putting gamer words in your whispers while you're recording a video or something. I get how this company makes so much money, but they're, like, so behind stuff that came out, like, ages ago, like even DFO. Old DFO has better functionality than this game in quite a few ways. The fact that it actually had an auction house, for one. You just put something in there and undercut somebody, and then when you get back from work or school, it's sold. Simple. I accidentally disassembled something that apparently was worth money, but it doesn't really matter because I had to deal with other people. I don't really care that much.
Need more time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. That happened to somebody playing, somebody got sponsored. They started posting, like, hentai symbol arts and stuff. I can't fathom why they didn't tell them to turn those off, because I did that. I streamed that game more than those guys did. I just didn't have any kind of financial compensation for it. I turned off my symbol arts because I knew that that was going to happen. Like, you just can't stream that game with symbol arts on, regardless of how much the player base is dwindled. You can't have the symbol arts on. It's a major risk. A lot of people on that game can't shut up about their kinks. Like, dude, I don't care what your anime girl kink is. Like, keep it to yourself, man. Everybody has kinks, but nobody else wants to hear about it. Like, people in those games won't shut up about it, and they're very obnoxious about it. So, streaming that game, turning off the symbol arts is basically a requirement. But yeah, I remember that happening. I remember, like, how did the sponsorship company not tell them to turn those off, like, before they started streaming? That's, like, the most important thing to do. It's a shame because there were some really funny symbol arts that weren't explicit, but if you were a content creator for the game, you just couldn't have them on. It's too much of a liability. Yeah, but you couldn't have them on because of all the anime pervs. Couldn't have it on. At least if you were streaming or recording the game in any capacity, you could not have them on. That's a whole mess you don't want to deal with. Especially making videos or streams for a game that's already not popular.
It needs time to recharge.
It's not like anything about how they localized PSO2 made sense anyway. Complete nonsense localization. A waste of time for everybody involved. The players and the people who had to translate the whole story. It's all just a waste of time. Turned base PSO2 into a anime filler arc. Wasn't New Genesis launch day a complete disaster anyway?
It is done.
So it was the standard online game launch. Like, they pay people to play it that, like, will never touch the game again after they get their paycheck. And then, like, the game doesn't even work. A classic. Tale as old as time. We're gonna give you $500 flat rate to play this game for 3 hours. And then the servers don't work. And the servers don't work, so the people streaming in are in this really awkward position where they, like, can't do what everybody else is doing and just, like, Alt F4 and stop playing the game. They're stuck staring at a login screen. If I ever got approached to, like, I don't know, DFO Overkill or something, a sponsorship for that, I would turn it down. I would turn it down most likely, because that's most likely what would happen. Staring at a login screen and being, at the same time, being, like, shackled to the game and not being able to play something else. Because you're paid to play it. But then, like, the game doesn't work. They're not advertising their product very well. It's not anyone's fault. It's not the creator's fault. Just like they shouldn't do sponsorships on the first day. Sponsorship should be like after the first week. And like everybody's already like tapped out of playing it. It's only like the actual people that are going to stick around are left. Yeah, Wayfinder was like that. They paid people to play that game and it didn't even work.
Family in this place.
The login server was broken for like 2 days. People paid good money, especially as a content creator. It's hard to get like you know, consistent income because ad revenue is very volatile and unreliable, especially for like important shit like bills. It's pretty nuts to just get paid like a flat rate for something, but then half the time the game doesn't work, so you're sitting there awkwardly looking at a login screen. The only way to own your games is to have them backed up and crack them or make them DRM free. That's how it's been for a long time. I don't know why people are so bent out of shape about the new Steam user agreements. That's how it's always been. You don't own the game, it's a license. But it doesn't really matter because the vast majority of Steam games don't have DRM. It's only like the big AAA stuff that has it. So I'm gonna give you a good example right now. Transformers Devastation. That game the Steam keys for that go for like $600. But like, you know, it didn't have any DRM. Just go torrent it. Just go torrent it. If they're not gonna like sell it for a reasonable price or bring it back, then just go torrent it. And then put that shit on your SD card. There you go. You got a copy. You've got a copy that you own. There definitely is a lot of pushing stuff to service games, so you can't own anything. Like this game I'm playing currently is fun, but it would be a lot better with mods. But because it's always online and you're forced to connect to a server, it's never going to have mods. Unless Blizzard decides to be nice. And when this game is at the end of its lifespan, they get rid of all the DRM and let you play it offline. But that's not going to happen. Painfully obvious. That's why a lot of people play Diablo 2 Resurrection, because that game has mods. There's lots of mods for that game, and you're not forced to play online. You can play offline, so... technically, when you own a physical copy, you're just paying for a license. But it doesn't really matter. It depends on what kind of game it is. Like, a lot of physical versions for, like, Switch games and stuff are useless because they don't have the latest update on them. Like, I have a copy of Streets of Rage 4, a physical copy, and it's basically a paperweight because it doesn't have version 8 on it. Like, it's cool that I have something that I beta tested, because I did beta test that game, but, like, honestly, it's useless. Physical copies of games got, like, way more useless when we started doing patches and stuff. Like, it still has to connect to a server to download stuff, so, I mean, it saves you some time. But it's not like before, where you could have, like, an old game and, you know, just put it in your PS2 and it just works. I'd argue that that is actually owning it, just because you can make a ROM of it as well, which is like a permanent copy that you have. Well, of course, that's why physical is nice, but according to the law, it's just a license. But like I said, it doesn't really matter. It depends on how old it is. You know, there's lots of NES games that'll never come back. There's lots of NES games that'll never come back, but you know, if you have those 35-year-old cartridges, they still work, right? But like a lot of modern stuff, physical copies are just a scam. Especially with all the updates and stuff. It's really only worth it when all the data is actually on a disc and it's like an older game and it's got like the latest patch on it. But there's so few games that do that. Almost every game you buy now, you have to download an update. Like, I have Streets of Rage 4. I have that game. You know, and I wanted a physical copy because I beta tested it. But it's useless. It's completely useless. It's nice to look at, but it's useless. It doesn't even have version 7 on it. It has version 5. So it's like 3 versions outdated. It's worthless for, like, actual preservation. It's just something nice to have for posterity. It has no practical purpose whatsoever. It's a paperweight. I do have Ninja Warriors once again physical, because that was a game that I grew up with. And that didn't really get a major update, so that's nice to have. I'll give it that much. The version difference is like new modes, new characters, complete balance changes. It's a completely different game. And that's not what's on the cartridge. So, it's useless. Most games are like that these days. Like, once the servers go down, your physical copy is useless anyway. What do you mean it bricked the digital version? Because I have the physical version of that game. What's the difference?
It needs time to recharge. Don't have enough energy. To recharge. Needs time to recharge.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, the site got a lot better, and it got a lot worse when Google came in. The functionality of the site got way better when Google bought it out, but everything else is pretty much worse. But that's because people kept putting up, like, entire movies on here. Pre-Google YouTube, you could just, like, upload whatever you wanted. It's like, sure, just go upload the latest Kamen Rider episode, nothing will happen to you. And then Google came in and put a stop to all that. A lot of people even got banned for putting up, like, the Metal Gear Solid 4 ending. I remember somebody I used to watch got banned for that. That's why it's an accomplishment I've had this for 19 years. I dodged all that shit. Yeah, they were very ban-happy when they started actually enforcing copyright. Now it's pretty much just a slap on the wrist. They'll demonetize the video, which, depending on how successful you are, you may or may not care. You know, like when I stream this game, I play music and it demonetizes it, but, you know, I probably made like 1 cent off streaming this game anyway, so I don't really care. Go ahead, greedy fucks. Go ahead and take my hard-earned 1 cent. I don't really care if it doesn't impact my account. I'm really starving for that 1 penny of ad revenue I'm getting doing this. Starving mega corporation.
Needs time to recharge. I need more time. Needs time to recharge. I need more time.
I mean, PS5 games don't even let you play off the disc. You have to install the data, and then you have to patch the game. So once the servers go down, your physical copy is mega useless. Unless it's like some one-off indie game that got a physical copy and they put like the latest version on. That's how Switch preservation is, pretty much. It's only worth having a physical copy if you can dump the ROM, which is what I have. Like I lost my hard drive. I lost my hard drive that had all my Switch backups on it, but I had the physical copy, so I just dumped it and got it back. That's like the only real reason to go physical on Switch. Having to download the updates and stuff makes it pretty useless.
Needs time to recharge.
You know they have like 3 different versions of Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, and I don't think even the latest one has the final patch. Like, they're all useless. You know, I love Power Rangers and I love Tokusatsu, but I've always wanted the physical Switch version, but like it's pointless. Because they updated the game again after they put out the final characters. And that's not on any of the physical versions. They made like 3 different cartridges for that game. That game's a perfect example of how useless physical games are now. Like, it's nice to have, but like to use it, you're still gonna have to connect to a server. So there's no point in having it. Not even in that game's case, even having it to dump a legal copy is useless too. Most of my physical games are like that. They're just nice to have because I can get the ROM off them. I don't have to rely on a ROM site because I legally own the game. And they can't take that away from me. They can take away the emulator. They can take away the software to do it, but, you know, I actually physically have the game, so
Needs time to recharge.
I can dump it as many times as I want. So for that purpose, it's nice, but yeah, physical stuff is overrated right now, sadly.
I need more time. I need more time. I need more time. Needs time to recharge.
I could never go back to the N64. I like retro games, but N64 aged terribly. I could never go back to that console. I'll only go back with the decompiled ports that like improve the frame rate. I could never go back to that. I still play like arcade games from the 90s just fine. And like NES games and SNES games and stuff, but that was like the worst era of games. That was the awkward,
I need more time.
barely hitting puberty era of video games. Frame rate and graphics took a major hit compared to pixel art. Like, I could never go back. There's stuff way older than that generation that's
Need more time.
way easier to go back to. Early 3D just sucks. The graphics suck, the frame rate sucks.
Needs time to recharge.
Especially for Nintendo, because Nintendo had... their library took a massive hit in quantity. N64's got like 400 games. And when you subtract all the shitty sports games, it's more like 350. And like most of them aren't good. Nintendo's third-party support went completely down the toilet. Completely down the toilet when they went to N64. Because nobody wanted to deal with heavy compression. Everybody really liked, you know, Final Fantasy VII being on 3 discs. And like, the last disc being almost entirely the ending. Nobody wanted to compress stuff onto like 64 meg cartridges anymore, so they lost a lot of third-party partners. And when you go back and look at the library, you see how bad it was. The third-party support was terrible. You were happy to get something like Resident Evil 2 just because it was like one of the only decent third-party games to play.
I need more time.
N64 has great games. They're very revolutionary, and some of them, despite the frame rate, are very important. for the medium, but owning that console back in the day was trash. I'm saying that as somebody who had one over a PlayStation. He went months with nothing to play. There was like something decent on PS1 like every month. On N64, you're like waiting forever for Zelda. You're waiting for Star Fox. You're waiting for Perfect Dark, GoldenEye. Waiting years for those games. There'd be like 3 games released a month. And then one of them is like Superman 64 or something. Which is like barely counts, because that's a garbage game. Now, Mischief Makers was an exception, yeah. That was one of the best third-party games, but yeah. People have a lot of revisionist history with the N64. It's definitely a great console, but it's better now, you know, with the decompiled ports, and like also just being able to play the best games, and not having to physically wait months for them to come out. Because that was what killed the N64 for me. N64 killed me being a Nintendo kid, pretty much. Because the library was pitiful. Like, yeah, it's got Smash, it's got Zelda, it's got Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Mischief Makers, all the rare platformers and stuff, but there were like really long time spans between those, an insane amount of time. And if it was like the only console that you had, you went really long time without anything to play. It was objectively worse than the PS1 in terms of like the selection in the library was pretty bad. It's one of those consoles that just has a couple like amazing, revolutionary, best games of all time, but then like barely anything else. That's the N64 in a nutshell.
I need more energy.
You really can just like look up like top 50 N64 games and just play those, and then skip everything else because it's either got a better version somewhere else or they're not worth playing. A lot of people just have like blind nostalgia for the N64. I'm like, man, having that console as a kid was painful. It was painful. Like, yeah, it was great to show off to my friends that I had Ocarina of Time, but then they would just call out the reality of like, you know, you're gonna go like months without another game. Pretty much. You had Smash like the year following, and then you had Perfect Dark, and almost nothing in between. So, Ocarina of Time had to last you like a year. Smash, same thing.
Come back if you need work. Not bad. Father bless. What do you need? Unexpected. that there is worth the coin.
The GameCube games have aged much better as a whole, but problem with GameCube again was the fact that they went with small discs that could hold like a quarter of what a dual layer DVD could hold. And that really held them back. It wasn't quite as bad as the N64 because like most PS2 games don't even come close to using a full DVD. It's mostly stuff like God of War 2 and like you know, Final Fantasy X and 12 and stuff that were like bigger. But there definitely was a little bit of a repeat of the N64 and like we don't want to print another disc. We don't want to print another disc when we can just make a PS2 or Xbox version and the DVD is enough to cover the whole thing. GameCube also had a shit controller for anything that it wasn't specifically designed for. So like Pikmin, Smash, Mario. Because I was a GameCube owner, that was the biggest downside to the GameCube, was the controller was not made with third-party games in mind. It was only made for stuff that Nintendo made themselves. Like, yeah, you play Smash on it, it's fine. You play Mario, Sunshine on it, it's fine. Metroid Prime, that kind of stuff. But then, like, try playing, like, Street Fighter or Tony Hawk on that thing. A miserable experience. Actively terrible experience. I'm glad with the Wii they kind of came to their senses and they just made the classic controller so that stuff that wasn't designed for the remote was still playable. Sure, you had to spend an extra $30, but at least it was better than the GameCube. Or like, the D-pad is terrible. The button arrangement is awful for third-party stuff, meaning stuff that was on other platforms. It's a terrible controller for that. They didn't really have a lot of foresight when they made that controller. The software drought was definitely a lot better compared to the N64. There was a lot less of a software drought. But the controller held it back for sure. And then, despite there being a lot of multi-plat stuff, you still really needed a PS2 to play the best games. GameCube was not enough. Well, Alvi, the D-pad on the GameCube controller is like just as bad as the 360 D-pad. It's awful. It's not good for anything. It's in an awkward position for your hand. It's incredibly stiff. Even after you've broken it in for like months, it just never felt as good as even like the N64 D-pad, which was still a pretty big downgrade from SNES. I actually think that's the word. That and the GameCube controller and the Switch Joy-Cons are like the worst controllers they've ever made. The Joy-Cons are just small and too flimsy, and they drift too quick. Even when they're like adult-owned, you know, they're not owned by some kid that has messy hands and stuff. Like, they just break way too often. You're not wrong there. GameCube did have a lot of the best versions of multi-plat games, for sure. A good example of this is Mega Man X Command Mission. That's probably not a game that many people have played, but the GameCube version runs at 60 FPS, if I remember correctly. The PS2 one is 30. The PS2 one has extra content because of Mega Man X8 and stuff was on it, but performance-wise, the GameCube one is twice as good. That was one thing about GameCube. A lot of multi-plat games where they ran better. But I feel like it's kind of a stalemate because the controller sucked. And Mega Man Command Mission is a turn-based RPG, so the weird controller shape doesn't really matter. I mean, try playing like Tony Hawk or CVS 2 on that thing. Good luck. Good luck. It's actively terrible experience. Yeah, how are you supposed to play that game on a GameCube controller? It was already a bit of a stretch on a Dreamcast controller. Well, the thing about CVS2 is that all the versions that weren't Dreamcast, they took out the roll canceling, so people who played in the arcades never wanted to touch it. But then, like, the GameCube version was just terrible, mostly just because of the controller. You gotta keep in mind, early 2000s, your options for arcade sticks were very limited. An actual good one that was on par with going to a decent arcade, the options were like slim to none. Especially for GameCube, is even worse there. At least on PS2 you could like import a stick from Japan, but like all the options for sticks like native that are natively sold in America were trash. I know because I had one. So that's what hurt that version of the game too. It didn't have roll canceling, and then there weren't really any good arcade sticks that you could buy that didn't require going online and ordering it. we were spoiled with the Dreamcast Goblin stick. How that was, you could just buy that in the store, and it was like one of the better sticks. There wasn't really a better stick than that for a good like 10 years. Everything else that we got over here was garbage. All the Pelican sticks were terrible. I had one of those. That's the worst arcade stick I have ever had. The buttons were so stiff, man. It's like they were designed for, like, I don't know, like typewriter buttons. They were not designed for, like, being able to push it quickly and do things quick in a video game. It was awful. But that's pretty much how arcade sticks were in the early 2000s. Even though we got a lot of really good arcade game ports, PS2 had a lot of arcade perfect ports and stuff. Finally, after a good like 15 years of getting shitty arcade ports, the options for a decent arcade stick were very, very, very small. PS2 Marvel didn't really get played much either. They also only made like 3 copies of it, so it didn't really matter. That was actually worth quite a bit of money for a while, but only by dumb collectors. So, I mean, you could just go get the Dreamcast version for free. It's easily available online, and it was the closest you could get to Arcade Perfect. I know that there's like some differences, but it was competitive viable. No one played competitively on PS2. It's mostly just stupid collectors who just wanted it because it was rare. Let's see what else we got here. I think I'll do like one more game tonight.
Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics.
No, there were options before that, but they required importing, so you had to be a mega nerd, a turbo nerd to get those. there were options, but you couldn't go into the store and buy them. That wasn't until Mad Catz started making good stuff. They basically had the Dreamcast Goblin stick that you could just buy in the store, even though it was still hard to find, and then it was 10 years of trash. And then when Street Fighter 4 came out, that's when the Tournament Edition stick came out. And then it became possible to actually get a decent one without having to import one from Japan.
X-Men versus Street Fighter.
It took a long time.
Let's go, bub. Ready. Fight! Smash attack! Air combo! Air combo! Good! Air combo! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Air combo! Let's go! Air combo! Air combo! Real power! Real power!
That's because it's a super jump cancel.
Good. Good.
Keep in mind, to do like air dashes and stuff in this game is 3 buttons instead of 2. So, you needed a really flexible hand. The wave dash as well is 3 buttons instead of 2. Like that.
Let's go. Let's go. Air combo. Good.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can set the extra buttons to whatever you want. You can even set them to specific special moves. Set them to Team Super, whatever you want. It's a really nice port. Mostly just the problems that it had were fixed. There were two main problems. First, the matchmaking on PC was all messed up. So, like, the launch week, you could barely get into a match. Even like the more popular games in the collection, like Marvel 2. And then the Juggernaut glitch was gone, which was really weird, because that's not really the kind of thing you would take out. Taking that out would imply that you're going to fix the completely jacked balance of that game, but they added it back in. I can go ahead and show that really quick. I'm probably going to go to bed really soon, so I'll go ahead and show that. Let me see here. Yeah, see right here? They didn't have this before. The Juggernaut glitch didn't work, but they turned it back on. I guess they, like, legit forgot. I'm like, yeah, that's... Why would you change that one thing? I thought that they, like, maybe thought that it was too broken or something, because they did take out, like, a lot of the glitches that could crash the game. Those got taken out. But yeah, they put it back in a couple weeks ago. And it's on by default in ranked, so... This is definitely the best version of the game to play now. The matchmaking being broken was more of a pressing issue than Juggernaut glitch not working. But both of those things are fixed, so if you care about competitive play, it seems fine. Yeah, I do hope that if they make like one last patch, major patch for this game, that they let you play on version 1 or version 2. Yeah, because I don't like that about X-Men vs. Street Fighter. It's like the ROM that's on the internet is version 1. So, most people who are still good at the game have been playing on Fightcade, and Fightcade does not use version 3, but they fixed everything else. It's a very good port. I'd argue it's worth the $50. Now, the one that's coming after this, Fighting Collection 2, I have some complaints with, because it's not going to have any of the single-player content, so it's just going to be for online, and it's going to be a Discord fighter after the first month. So, I don't know if I'll buy that one. I mean, I did grow up with those games, but it's just the single-player content, like Alpha 3 World Tour mode, was so awesome. Just getting to level up your character and having the different challenges and stuff was fun, even if you weren't, like, mega sweaty competitive. I really liked that they had that. It's kind of whack that these new collections are just, like, strictly for competitive play. I'm like, I think more people would buy them if they had all the casual stuff. Like, you know, I'm decent at Project Justice, I'm decent at Power Stone. CVS 2 I was never great at. I could probably destroy some newbies, but I never was like tournament level at them or anything. But the single player content was fun. It's really a shame that they're not going to have any of that stuff. That'd be like the main attraction for me. But yeah, like all that stuff is seemingly gone. It's just for competitive play. Yeah, the only major nitpick that people have with the Marvel collection is X-Men vs. Street Fighter is on version 3, which gets rid of a lot of the really fun and easy infinites. But other than that, it's very good. It wasn't worth the money at launch because the matchmaking was broken. So if you cared about playing online at all, I'm not talking like tournament level, just even with your friends, the matchmaking was a mess. Juggernaut glitch just made the game less fun, because Juggernaut glitch was what made a lot of the off-meta characters playable. Made it so you could actually play as them. They weren't completely dead weight, but... Alright, I'm getting a little bit of a headache. I think I need to take my meds and probably try to get some rest. So, let's see. We gotta figure out a game to take up the next week until, East 10 comes out. So, you guys have any suggestions, you can go in my Discord and, suggest a game you'd like to see. It's the filler arc of the channel right now. So that's like the next game I'll be doing. I thought about doing the Turtles game today, but it kind of doesn't really look that great. And it's also $40, and I'm kind of broke right now, so... I'd rather put that $40 into something I know I'm going to play to completion than something I might flush. Yeah, you can join my Discord if you want. I'm going to try to go to bed a little bit earlier today, so I'm not so jacked up in the morning. And maybe we'll stream some more games in the morning. I'll have to figure out what the next game's going to be. I have a couple choices here, actually. Let's see here. Defect process is pretty cool. Rustle doesn't run as bad as it used to, so I want to give this game a chance. I might try this next stream. Bakeru actually got an update that fixed... let me see where they have it here. When he played this game at a higher frame rate than 60, it was really choppy. That's why I backlogged this, but I played it last night off stream after the patch and it's fixed, so probably play that next, maybe. I have FF16 New Game Plus to do as well. I'll probably pick one of those. There's a new Turtles game from some indie developer. It looks okay, but I don't know if it's $40 okay. And I don't want to take donations for it either. You see in my pinned, I have the donation link. That's for East 10. That's not for the Turtles game. The Turtles game looks okay, but for $40, I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards no. I need somebody more financially fortunate and be the guinea pig on this. It looks kind of fun, but $40 is a big risk. There's no demo or anything. I'm hoping that some other sweaty action game player that has more money than me will put up some videos of this. I was kind of interested in playing it, but price point to risk of being a bad game ratio is too high, especially a week before East 10. The release date and the price are not really aligned with my current gaming schedule, so yeah, it comes out in like an hour. Maybe I'll see if anybody's streaming it and watch them or something. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now, folks. I'll probably try Rustle and Bakeru next, or try out the FF16 mods, because that won't take a week to finish that game again. But yeah, East 10 is in a week. I applied for a review key, but I haven't heard back, and somebody else that's in my Discord has not heard back either, so I don't know if they're just done giving out keys or we got rejected, but I kind of got to go into it assuming that I'm going to have to pay for it, so that's what the donations are going to go to for the next week. I'll see you guys probably in the afternoon. Origins isn't out until January. I'll likely get a review key for that, but that's like 3 months away, dude. That's not coming anytime soon. It's like January 25th, so 3 months and a week away. It's no time soon. I'm talking about immediate releases like this. This comes out in a week. So I need a game to cover a week, and I got some good stuff to work on. So we'll work on that later.